Okay, so before we begin problem number 18, or question 18 on page 588, you need to review the slope-intercept video, slope-intercept formula. And what that is it's going to tell you how to get the rise and the run and the y-intercept. And you'll be able to plug in those values. You can actually look at the answer choices. Once you understand the slope-intercept, you can look at A, B, C, D, the answer choice, and you can start eliminating the ones that you know are not the correct answer because, one, the y-intercept doesn't fit the slope-intercept formula that you know, and the rise and the run doesn't fit. And we're going to show you that. Okay, so the slope-intercept formula is this, and let me get my blue pen here. Okay, so slope I'm just spelling it out for you. Slope intercept formula. And just knowing this form, it's going to help you with this type of problem. Okay, so what is the slope-intercept formula? Y equal M X plus B. Okay, and then we're going to explain what this means. And then you'll see, knowing this will help you with question number 18 on page 588. So the first step in using this formula is understanding and understanding the slope-intercept formula is to write out the y equal x, the y equal mx plus b. So what is the m in the formula? Well, the m is what we call the rise over the run. So m equal rise I'll make a line a little longer. Rise over the run. Okay, so that's what M in the formula represents. And so how do we calculate the rise over the run? What you're going to do, let me get my red pen. You see this line here. Let's say this was the line that we wanted to know the slope on. So to get the slope, you could calculate the rise over run. That'll give you the slope. So this line begins right here, And so we're going to start counting up. 1, 2, 3, until we get to the tip of the next line, of the opposite end of the line. 4. I'm putting it like this so you can see it. 5, 6, 7. We're counting these lines. 8, 9, 10. And I'm just putting the numbers here so you can see it. 11, 12, We're not at the tip of that line yet. 13, 14. Now we can't go 15. Why? Because it doesn't reach up here. So 14. So we have our rise. See? The rise. We have that. It rises 14. Alright? So the rise is 14. And the run, from where this line is, you see, it's right here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and look, 5. So then the run is 5. So you can see the slope here is 14 over 5. Now, of course, we can reduce this, but if you looked at the problem answer choices, A, B, C, or D, and if it had 14 over 5, then automatically you can eliminate some of the other choices. Of course, in this case, we see on problem question number 18, page 588, we see a negative half. Then we see 2x. Then you see for C, answer choice C has half x, and answer choice D has half x. So again, when you count the rise of the line that's in question, that they're asking you on the graph, you're going to come up with the rise over run. In this case, this particular line, the slope is 14 over 5. Now, if you want to reduce this, of course, we know we're going to want a mixed fraction. We can say 5 goes into 14. How many times? 1 second. So we know 5 goes into 14 what? 2 times. And 4 over 5. But now, this is just an example. So what you'll be looking for is what is the slope in the answer choices. It could be represented as this, 2 and 4 over 5, or it could be represented as 14 over 5. But we know in this equation here that M is the slope, right? X, we're going to look for the value of what X is on the grid. So the next thing we want to look at that's going to help us calculate one of these graph problems is we're going to look at the B in the problem. So B is equal to the y-intercept. Wherever that y, see y is up here, so y runs what? Vertical. You see, it runs vertical. Whereas the x runs, we see, x here, runs horizontal. And when we horizontal, left to right, horizontal. Vertical, top to bottom. So your B in this formula, the slope-intercept formula, is the y-intercept. B is equal to the y-intercept. Okay? B is your y-intercept. And I know I'm running out of room here. But you heard, so you know what I'm saying. I just wrote on the edge of the page. Okay, so B is your y-intercept. So then, look and see where y-intercept on the actual graph. Okay, where does the line here intercept with y? Where does it? And when we say intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? And we can see right here, it crosses the y right here. Okay. Now notice this. So that means that's a positive 2. It's a positive 2. Okay? So then we know the y-intercept is what? A plus 2. And again, you're going to look at your answer choice and see in the formula, is there a plus 2? So what I'm going to do while I'm doing this, I'm going to show it to you and explain it, the answer choice for question number 18. So the answer choice here was D. And if you would look at D, you would see that the y crosses, the y-intercept is 3, you see? So I'm showing you as I'm explaining this. And the slope, we counted, we went up 10 on the rise, and then we counted all the way to the right 20. So 10 over 20, when you get to doing that problem, you'll see it. Let me erase that. Okay. So we had calculated 10 was our rise on question number 18, and the run was 20. All right? 20. Sorry about that. But you know this can be reduced, right? So that's going to be equal to 10 going to 10 one time, and 10 going to 20 two times, right? Okay, so look what's coming up. So when you do this, when you do the actual problem for 18, this is your rise over run. I was just demonstrating using this one here to show you what it means. That's why I used this graph that I found. But the actual one that you're going to do on 18 is going to come to this. The rise is going to be 10, and then when you start counting to the right, the run is going to be half. So your problem is going to come out like, look at the formula. You see the formula? So y is going to equal this when you get to 18. Y equals, and we said that m was the rise. We have it. You see? So we're going to be looking for this in the answer choices. Which one has a half, which in this case is a positive. It's not negative. And the x is going to be like so, okay, for the x variable. And then we know when you look on question number 18, like I looked on this sample graph, but you see we saw where the y right here, it crosses, the line actually crosses the y-axis. See, boom, right there. So it's a plus 2, a positive, because negative 2 is down here. So your negatives run down here. You can see that on the y-axis. And the positives run up here. See, because this would be, what, 0. Right there is 0. And then on your x-axis, look, your positive run over here to the right, and your negative on the x-axis run on the left. So we figured out that in the actual problem 18 on page 588, that your y-axis intercept at a plus 3. When you look at it in your book on page 580, you'll see it's a plus 3. See? So now, knowing how to use this formula, when I look at the graph and I see a plus 3 in the answer choice and I see a half, automatically I can eliminate A and I can eliminate C on question 18 on page 588 because they don't have a plus 3. Okay, and you look, you see B has a plus 3 and D has a plus 3. But remember, we calculated the rise. So when you look at the rise, D has to be the answer choice. On question number 18, page 580. I use this graph as an example so you can see how to calculate it and using this slope-intercept formula. The question on 18 asks, which of the following equations correctly describes the line on the graph? Okay, and you can see. Let me put this here. This is question number 18. I don't have my red pen. I usually use it for correction. But this is 18. So I pretty much explained it. So you can see how we came up with our answer choice D. Let me explain it, so I don't want you to get confused. Of course, you could always rewind it, but what we said was this: before you work D, you need to understand the slope-intercept formula, which is y equal mx plus b. So we calculate the m in that formula as rise over run. It's going to tell us what the slope of that line is. And in this sample that I used, this blue line here, the rise was 14 over 5. And you saw how I did it. I just count from the bottom. Wherever that line starts, like right here, watch my pointer. Where that line begins, you don't start counting, you count here. You see, right here was my 1. And then, of course, 2 and 3. You see, this is how I came up with the 14. And then to get your run, what do we do? Right where this line is here, we start counting over. 1 right here until we get over to the blue line. 2, you see, 3, 4, boom, 5. That gives me my run. That's how we came up with this right here, 14 over 5. Okay, now, of course, if we were using it for problem number 18, it would be half, and I showed you. There it is. 10 on the rise and 20 on the run equals a half. And when you look at the problem, the only correct answer choice for that problem is the one with the half as your rise over run and a +3 for the y-intercept. And there's only one. Answer choice D. Okay, so that's how you work out the problem. And the answer for that problem is D. That's your answer. Didn't mean to be so lengthy, but I really wanted to explain this. And of course, you could always rewind it or fast forward as needed.